Vasudevaya.
We're talking about protecting the person.
Yes, protecting the person.
And then he said, he also said something about, I don't know if it was about me, but I just wanted to do you feel it like this? Because you said something like, no, I don't think I want to talk. Sorry.
Is this the person again? Is this the person again? We were even talking, it's been coming up in the last few days, talking generally about these things. That there is a kind of energy sometime that when I go walk about, sometimes I just feel to go walk about, and then my eyes see things, people and things, and then I just start to comment about it. And I feel that there is a kind of sometime like there's a kind of inertia.
What is inertia?
Meaning something that just kind of can't be bothered to go the full. Come so much, and you stop, and then you just can't be bothered to kind of to do the last bit. And I was talking with Lakshmi, and she was saying about somebody who was here. I won't use her name now, but she said she was going to the toilet one night, and as she's in the evening, as she was going in, this person was coming out, and she went in the same toilet. And when she went in the toilet, there was pee all over the place, on the seat, on the floor. There was this pee. She couldn't believe it. She said, "My God, like this, She was shocked, so she cleaned it up, and then she used it, and then the next day she sees this person. And then she says, she went to him, which is a man, and she says, you yesterday I went into it was pee everywhere. And he said, yeah, I know, I didn't have a torch. She said, and you saw me coming after you said nothing at all. And then he said, yeah, and then he tried to be nice about it. And I said, that for me is what I mean. It's like you can't be bothered, because sometimes people say, no, the people are not aware. And I say, it's not that, it's you can't be bothered, Sometimes something you can't be bothered. We know this energy also, because it's very virulent, it's just part of the life. And it was funny because we were talking, where does it come from? Because I was talking to Arun about something to do with him. Where he was asking where it come from. I said, well, it just come out of the ego, just come out. But where it come from? And then I remember we were talking about this, that in some of the lakes, there are these kind of like these, they look like mini lobsters. Yeah? We see them all. I was going to get one to put in the pond, actually. It's a good thing I didn't. Crayfish. And he said, no, that's the worst thing you can do, because they eat all the good vegetation, they destroy everything and that is. So I asked, where did they come from? He said, nobody knows, they just come. And then in some places you go, there's a lake, and there's fish. Where they come from, nobody knows, they just come. And then I remember that, I was just saying now before, that I was in India in 1993, in Tiruvannamalai at the beginning of 94. I went to swimming in one friend's well, big well. It was full of fishes. I said, wow, where did you get these fishes from? He says, I don't know, they just come. We dig, there was only water, and then after, fishes just come. And I said, this is how the ego just come, and all the stuff that out of us just come out of that, come out of the self. You're not going to find how it comes. Everything come out of just nothing. Then you have to go to that nothing place. Don't go to the something place. The something place you have to start counting and categorizing. So you have to go before the something place to the nothing place. Then you see all the somethings are of the nature of nothing. You see that in here, you see. But this seed of arrogance and this securing, protecting this somebody. It seemed, because it develops so slowly, it grows together, and you're not quite sure which is you and which is not you. And nobody's teaching in any institution which is really you. And they don't go to no school, no church, no university, no gathering place where people are talking about what exactly is you. Human beings have so many ideas about themselves, but no one goes here to clarify what exactly do you mean by you. You see? And so the you that we believe ourselves to be, that is a very, very unreliable entity, comprised mostly of kind of mind stuff and projections and dreams and fantasies and all kinds of things which are unstable. So that's why our lives seem unstable and like this. Because you're looking at your mind and calling it your life. Calling it yourself, that's what. So I wanted to do this, and we were talking also with Lakshmi. She said it's been very, very good, that to write these things down. What makes you you and keeps you being you, and what is this you?
I also wrote that with that.
You see? And that I should require that everybody does it, actually.
And can I see? Is it still okay to bring the links?
Oh, I don't know when I'm going to read it, but everybody should do it and hand it in. And we look at it. Everybody should do it and hand it in, because it gives you a chance to kind of like get something out that usually we keep in, because you maybe you never even looked at it. But then you have to look at these characteristics and that we say is yourself, qualities you say, this is what makes me me, and really look at it, and so we can at least be more open-eyed about the self you call yourself. Otherwise we can continue like this for a very, very long time, maybe lifetimes, not quite breaking the code of this, of what exactly is sentient, what exactly is a sentient here. Thinking we're always this mind. And defending it. Everyone is their own best lawyer. Everybody defend themselves. And so what self are you defending? In fact, you're defending your criminal, you're defending your thief. Because we identify that this is what we are. So it is really, I feel, the most important subject to explore, to bring light to it, because it is shrouded in darkness. I mean, a true seeker or devotee is delighted with these type of things. Where the world will be in sorrow, they're in delight for finding the things that you are discovering where the enemy is, if you can say like that. Because these are not easy things to clarify. Because on one hand, I say you must jump over the moon of your own identity, which is the world. And then it can be easily taken that if you jump over yourself, you don't have to worry about this self. But then I said, then sometimes I tell you, no, you know what's going on there, because you're still living there. If you're going to jump over it and move on. But you jump over it and go back. This is why you go back there. Because something is still living there. And our vasanas, which we protect, which is the identity and insecurities that make us feel vulnerable, we protect them. And every time you protect them, you see you lose power. My God, this is what I call the jackpot of life. This is winning the lottery of life, when your eyes are clear enough. Eh?
I can see why we would protect those things which seem to bring pleasure, but why do we protect the insecurities or
Because you identify them as you, and you feel that if they're exposed, you are the ones going to get hurt. When we identify with insecurity, you don't see it as an enemy. You see it as like, but it's my vulnerable self, and if I let you there, you're going to stab me in there, and it feels like no, please, no, don't do this. You are sheltering what you think is you, your vulnerable self. You see, this is why you have to, something has to be willing to throw it out and say, like, I take the risk because I have no absolute guarantee that if this is taken out, that I still exist. But there must come a point when something feels, well, to hell with it, because I can't be with that. You're so intolerable to yourself. You're so kind of, you can't stand yourself in that way. Some people have to go. That's why many people sometimes they commit suicide. But they kill the body. They kill the wrong thing. You have to commit suicide on the ego, not on your body. The body is innocent. It's only the vehicle.
When I was looking at this thing, what makes me is first thing was the fear to be seen, and also, but the reverse was the wish to be seen. Yeah, and then, but looking a little bit deeper, all of the others is just based on fear. It's just like, because this identity is kind of, as you say, is just running on nothing. I mean, and it always needs something to establish itself. Yeah.
Yes,
and
it's true, because the fear to be seen is because we have an idea, we have a feeling, because you see the mind, that it's not pleasant, and we think that, and then we have an overmind and an undermind. The overmind is the mind that we show to the world, the self that this is how I am, and the face. But then the second mind is the mind that you're undermined. You think, I don't like the judge, and you think that if you get exposed, it's the undermind that will see. But I say neither the front or the back is you. You see, they are both kind of like projections. But you feel, but I don't know what is left, because that's all I know. This is the trap, you see. I don't know, because that's all I know. And if you take away all that I know, even if it's bad, it's better I'm bad and I'm something than I am nothing and I can't find myself. There's a lot of little games are playing inside. And this is why it is absolutely necessary to have an awakened being, because they remind you, but wait a minute, but Jesus Christ is. The Buddha is. Why did people want to emulate that? Why would people after does anybody try to be Genghis Khan? Does anybody going around try to be Napoleon Bonaparte? Why they want to remember Jesus Christ? And because it is a reminder of the perfect self. Who wants to remember Alexander the Great? Who is going around, we are devotees of Alexander the Great. He's not very great now, because he did not contribute anything to the human spirit. So the human being is venerating those who show a light into the human spirit and show that underneath all things there's a purity there. Those are the ones you are wanting to see, isn't it? They are the ones who are still alive, because they are life. You don't want to, all these things we're bringing out, they're just going into the fire. They're going to the fire, whether you put them in there or not. Because the nature of any illusion is that when it is clearly exposed, it loses its power. Or let's say it can, because sometimes, because once you've seen, you can't unsee. It will be there somehow doing its work inside. You can't. Yes. Then you may say your conscience is alive. It will speak to you through your conscience. Because you've seen this thing, you know that it's not true. But sometimes it's not that we reject anything because it is wrong or that it's good or it's bad. It's not because of that we reject or we accept something. Sometimes we accept something because we have attachment to it. It's not because it's particularly good or bad, but you have an attachment to that. And the attachment override whether the thing is good or bad. When we are dealing with each other, we talk about right and wrong, like you are wrong. But actually, it's not that. We are mostly attached to the things, then that's good enough for you because you're attached to them.
Something is clear when you say to just allow, because nothing can hurt what I am. Nothing can hurt. So, and something is coming and saying, but I have to look after this one, and
Something is looking after this one. It's built into the mechanism to look after itself. You look at a fly, he lives on shit. But if you look closely on him, you see every time he goes and cleaning himself like this. Because his nature is to be clean. Something have to look after your life. You think it's your mind, but something just looks after your life to the extent of your maturity. I mean, a sage or someone like this is not so concerned about the body so much. So, they don't see that the life equals the body. But if you have identity, life equals your body. So you give a lot of attention to your body. Everybody says, body, look after the body. But the one who has gone beyond is not so concerned about the body. They're more take care of your body because you value it. Yeah. But their own body, maybe they don't take care of so much. And yes, it's then this thing you say, I know that I am the self, has to be an energetic conviction. You understand? Not just I believe, I deduce, I can agree, I can see that I am that. No, it's like it's confirmed energetically also, which means that it's inside you're very in the bloodstream of in the DNA of your being. It's in there. It's coming more and more. It's coming more and more. It's growing more and more steady in that. But who is doing this? It's just the mind has to become that. The beingness along with the mind is bringing the mind into that, to baptize it in the DNA of the pure. That's what is happening. That is the movement of the life. And that energetic conviction don't seem to come until it's like there has to be a kind of surrender, isn't it? This is why I say that even self-inquiry comes to a kind of surrender. It's not just merely intellectual, I can see I'm not that. You understand it, of course you deduce. There's a very clear mirror for the intellect also. Very clear. But still, it has to have the pulse of the heart. It has to have the fragrance of the self. It has to have something. It cannot just be a dry understanding. So it somehow gets baptized in the heart, and it has an energetic presence. It becomes miraculous. You see, your inner eye open, the inner eyes open. When the inner eyes open, the outer eyes, they see names and form, but the inner eyes see God, which is the unity of all things, the unicity of being. It sees from that, and it sees as that love. It sees love because it is love. You see, not the love that is born out of personhood, which is almost always selfish. It is a kind of love also, it's an aspect of love, but it's green love. It's only about what you get out of the love. But it's a love that is broad, that encompasses all existence. That love is not personal, it is the unity of being, manifests as this love. And wisdom, same thing. Love by itself is not enough in the human expression, because it is almost always a transaction or a getting and giving kind of thing, and it can become just emotional, very emotional. Emotions are also a beautiful aspect of love, but it must be combined with wisdom and understanding, which gives love strength and depth, and love gives wisdom sweetness and warmth and beauty. They have to go together. You see, the love, if not without the wisdom and the power, becomes a bit too emotional, a bit too much feeling. And wisdom without love becomes too dry and too intellect. So I said that there are two wings of one bird. The bird cannot fly on one wing. The true jnani is also a bhakta, and the true bhakta becomes a jnani. The one who is very devotional comes into wisdom also, and the one who is very, very wise comes into love also. They come together. Many people could not understand how a jnani like Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj or Sri Ramana Maharishi or even the great Shankara were devotees actually. Ramakrishna, great devotee and a jnani at the same time. But they say, but how can you believe in the non-dual unity of all beings, and be devoted? They say, well, you cannot understand until you drown in me. When you drown in me, you will know. But I can't explain to you. You see, I mean, it would just be like a fish asking a bird, what does it feel like to fly amongst the clouds? So, I'm sorry, just enjoy the water, man. Or at least you have to become a flying fish. You might, but you probably still won't taste the cloud. Easy. If the fish has strong enough aspiration, he might become flying fish, and then after he might become bird. Yeah.
I was meditating on the Christ painting you've made in my room, and somehow it entered into me, and I felt something like that, very like a knife, first time I didn't recognize love. I thought, but what is this? And it took me time to see that it is love, but very different quality of what I used to call love.
Yes.
But somehow a higher one. I mean, maybe more far from the human beings. Somehow it's my way to put it. But also it can be full love for humans. But I really, and the podcast there was about you talking about something being very. I don't have the words, but maybe harder with the mind, not hard is not the good word. Something like that, more this cutting energy, more strict, more tough. And that was just a few minutes, the two experiences took.
Yes, because ordinarily we don't, in our human paradigm or feeling about love is very sort of like sweet. It's love very emotional, very embrace, very feeling. And we don't see the wider love, the greater love, that can chop off your leg to save your life. But you'll never say thank you. You see, sometimes it is, this is what when Jesus Christ meant when he says, what is the good of getting everything in life and then losing your soul? It's better that you lose one of your limbs or two of your limbs and enter into the kingdom of heaven than to get all of these things and lose your soul. But we don't like to, that's just too uncomfortable, just give me a kiss, man. Just give me a kiss, give me a hug. Is it? He said, no, I'll crack your head. Crack my head. But crack my head is not very loving. So this love, we don't really appreciate this love. Like we don't go that far. We like to keep love like love and romance. But the divine romance is much broader than our narrow human kind of expectations, which is just to be something bubbly and nice and so soft and so. Love is life. Even sometimes it throws you in the middle of the ocean. It strips you down. It gets you beaten up, just for your liberty to free. Would you call that love? Life throw you into some place, you got beaten up, but then somehow all your nonsense is fallen away. Would you call that love? Very few people call it love. They will say, oh, it's your bad luck. And then nobody would say, but wait a minute. But actually, as a result of that, I stopped telling lies. I stopped, cheating and doing all kinds of stuff after that happened. Yeah, but you could have learned it a more gentler way, man. Sorry about that. They feel sorry for you when you have intense experiences that gives transformative power to come out of the darkness, you see. We don't appreciate it as love, but this is also love. Many people, they give a picture of Jesus Christ of being meek and mild and very soft, but he could also be very strong, When he went into the marketplace in the synagogue and he saw the people that they had turned the place into a market and they were selling things and gambling in the market, he became very angry and he took a whip and he started to whip the people. But not many people talk about that. He threw over the tables. This is my Father's house. This is a place of worship, but you've turned it into a place of thieves. But we don't talk about that. Oh, yeah, he did say that, No, but that is love. You see, also. And it is very spontaneous. He didn't plan that. It just spoke like this.
I saw after this teaching I received from painting that, because I tried to experience it inside of me, and I saw that I could very easily put something which would be somehow violent from me, from the person, in that. Use it, this energy of him, and dissimulating it is something which is violent. It's very, to have it really right, it's not so...
Yes, everything comes from also the intention, Because it's like you're on the street, you get attacked by some thief, and he stabs you with a knife. Take your money, Then they take you to the doctor, to the hospital. The doctor take a scalpel, open you up, also a knife. Okay? But the doctor, you thank you for saving my life. But the attacker, you go to jail. Nothing happened to the knives. The knives don't go to jail. The knives don't go on holiday. It's not the cut, but it's the motive behind. One comes to harm you, one comes to heal you. So we always, they say, always God sees the motive behind the action. Sometimes your motive is good, but outwardly it looks like it come out bad. But the motive in the inside was out of love, out of care, like this, you see. So all these things, as much as possible, I don't speak so much about all these things. Now we talk a bit about it because there's a moment for that. I prefer to go to discover one thing that gives you understanding of many things, than to go to one thing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, let's go to the place, because we're in an age of very short attention span. Many people now have short attention span. So we have to use our short attention span, meaning to get to the truth quickly, because otherwise you're going to get distracted and you're going to forget what it is about. This is the age now. They say that in the time of Jesus Christ, when he was walking physically on the earth, the Gospel of Jesus Christ, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the 4 books of the New Testament, they were written mostly 70 years after the passing of Jesus. Why? Because people was remembering. They were remembering and pass on the tradition of oral and teaching and remembering. The Quran is the same thing also. The people, they learned just through reciting. Some people can recite the entire Quran just without reading. They can do it. No? Now nobody can do this. When I went to school, we were learning our times table. 717, 72 is 14, 73 is 21, 74 is 28, 75, 35, 76. Like this we learn everything. All the way from 1 all the way up to 12. You know, we learn to multiply like this. Most kids they can't do now because they have computer, everything's computer. Also the attention span is much shorter. So what's going to happen is that any teaching that is too long, people don't have time. You see this or not? Many people don't have time. They don't have got short everything with things like YouTube and stuff. Everything now 5-minute movie. If you have something, we have many YouTubes 5-7 minutes or 50, 40, 70, 60, 70,000 views. But a Satsang 2 hours and 30, then you know a tenth of the view because people can't be bothered to watch a whole Satsang. And still they're asking, we want more, we want more, we want more. So, but everything is there. Everything I've told you enough for you to be free. They but they want more, but they want more, want more. But have you swallowed the food in your mouth? Want more, more. We're like this. So how are you going to find this thing? It has to be that it has to be assimilated internally. With short attention span, how are we going to use it in this age? The only way, you have to have something direct. That people don't have time to too much drift away and to fantasize and go all over the universe and come back to it. No, you forget what you're talking about. Sense. All different things. Oh, this is going to make me happy. Oh, this thing is going to make me famous. Oh, this thing is going to protect me. And nothing is doing it. And you never think, you know, these things betray me. I put my trust in that they betray me. No, we keep on. Then you come to something that is pointing you. He's not even saying you give me this. Then he says, no, just look here. And no, I'm afraid to lose myself. But yeah, but maybe you might just lose what is not yourself. You see, this is a funny thing. And nobody can understand this life. Don't even try. Nobody can understand this life. This is why human beings, we create systems of thought. We create systems of thought to try and make some sense of it. But you cannot reach it like that. Because God say, you can try with all your skill, all your power, all your experience, all your intelligence to figure me out. And you will fail. But if you love me, I am all yours. When you try to figure me out, you cannot reach one atom of me. You cannot come to the end of me. You're not even at the beginning of me. But if you love me, I am yours. So this is the power of love, Because the rest is mostly arrogance. The rest is mostly arrogance. And even the path of non-duality, which I point you to, is a very, very direct path. But its path is fraught with arrogance. It's very easy. But those people who, they like it because, I am everything. I am nothing. I'm everything. You feel like this kind of thing until you go in. And then you see that we have made our ego our treasure. And you come to a point when you have to look and go beyond the gate of your own limitation, and something will be afraid. I have to stay within the gate of the unknown, of the known, apparent known. And so, everything I tell you is love, It comes out of that love wisdom. It comes out of that, and it burns everything. It's a very sweet fire.
Mooji, I would like to explore something. Can I come across?
Yeah. Should we go inside a bit because it's very bit chilly? Just for a few minutes. Yeah. I mean, you see how amazing is this wind?
It's like the words.
I watched this rain, and it was like catching of rain. So
Here it comes again now. Sometimes the tree of the ego and the mind is shaking like that. You have to be in your stillness. When you try and focus your attention in your stillness, you can feel something wants to go to attend to the noise. But underneath that, there's a stillness that is completely untouched. That moment where they appear like a choice to identify and be one with the stillness. Everything is one. I remember sometimes we used to enjoy so much this when the weather's like this, sometimes in India or in Jamaica or whatever. And just, just so much loving to just to be in it. Especially if you're in a good place. Just open the windows and just so enjoy. But in Monte Sahaja it feels a bit frail. Maybe the roof.
please, somebody.
Or some trees. The trees are they're really getting a bashing today.
When you look up from your room, that you just see really big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a dog thing. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like this. And they try to stand up. This is a poor tree. I'm gonna try to stake it up. Yeah.
I don't have it very clear what I want how I want to expose this, but it has to do with surrendering.
It's surrendering.
Yeah. The other day you were talking strongly to us after this and all these letters, and something came in that moment that when you were talking strongly, that said, but wait, you to feel this, to feel like that this is coming to you, you have to identify with the seeker, and that the master is giving you some chopping. And at the same time, we are being told to remain in the big space where even the person is seen. It was not really mental like I am putting maybe, but it was something kind of like, this is then what you have to do when we talk about, when Mooji speaks about, so you even have to surrender the surrenderer. And in that space, everything was quiet and there was deep joy, even though chopping was going on. Then after this, there was some kind of mind took it or something.
Mind what?
The mind took it somehow, feels like this, because there was a sense of guilt, of like cheating, like trying to escape or being arrogant because I didn't put myself where I think all the others were assuming this was for them, and this was something to also to take with open chest. And then came all this noise about are you really, maybe you are just avoiding the teaching or with a smart trick, but the experience was authentic, and also as was seen like when Guruji is more in a joyful mood or moment, then we are very happy, and when comes like a moment more of chopping or more severe, then the person we shrink and we have this sense of doing something wrong and I just want to put this out because I'm not comfortable with this situation.
We are just putting everything out. Myself also putting everything out. There was no strategy about it. And it's like sometimes the tongue carry a fire. It just has to come and bring it out because it's that moment. And it itself is authentic moment. And it may throw you off, may give you a sense, you throw off balance. You go, whoa, what's happening? Whoa. Doesn't matter, it still stir up whatever it needs to stir up and bring to something, whatever. I am not telling you how you should listen to it. I don't know right then. It just come like this. Like now we are sitting here. And what can we do about this storm? You see? Only to be quiet within your being. Because you don't know. Suppose this was, who would say if it was the end of the world, it wouldn't feel like this in the beginning coming. Like this is all over. Just imagine all this is just a sign of what's happening all over the world. Every building is falling down now. Thousands of beings. The earth is opening up. Thousands of beings are being swallowed up. We don't know if it's going to be our turn. What is your state of mind? So where's the right place to be in this? You just have to be empty. When I say empty, I don't mean blank. The emptiness, which is a sort of surrender, a trust, an offering to life. You see? Otherwise what? You're busy upstairs. What am I going to do? Oh my God, we should be on the right place. Maybe we should go to Mount Yes. Maybe we should. No, you are here. We don't know in the actual moment. But what would be different from this moment if it were actual? So it's not about generating fear, but it's bringing a kind of maturity into our experience and to look and say, well, we're here. And because the storm is here, are you any different from you were yesterday when no storm was here, in the place I'm pointing to? Or is it depending upon the storm? The storm makes a difference naturally to the awareness. Does this storm make a difference to the awareness? Because something may happen to my body. So almost you have to go into that part of the mind that carries you again out to sea with all those thoughts, or you stay bring your attention in the awareness itself, and you're not paralyzed in the awareness. You're here. Use these moments of turbulence, of strong pulsations of the mind as an opportunity. Use them as mirrors to look into your own being. isn't it? If we're only going to do it when we're feeling all nice, what I call in your cappuccino state of consciousness, everything is nice and we can talk about this and we can sing bhajans and so on. But what about when the body-mind kingdom is rocking? Huh? Can you recognize your stillness? And is it enough? The mind must say, but look at you. But what's the good of your stillness now? And will you crumble? You see? The whole world is falling apart. What are you doing? Nothing. Shame on you. Can anybody evaluate your state? Let's not be so confident about how we will be. We don't know. You have to be as you are now, and now, and now, and now. Any moment of now you want to take. Because awareness is not somehow affected by the changeful states. If you were to pray now, the universe is collapsing, you're praying. What are you going to pray for? Please keep me safe. As what safe? As the form? Maybe you say, my mind is in turmoil, but merge it only in you. For the rest I don't know. Merge it only in you. Because in these days there are going to be many things. It's been written about, many signs and wonders. Many things are going to be moving in a very great way in the material universe. I mean, it is our time. It is already like that.
Mooji, I feel I need to speak. I have nothing to say apart from just to continually put my head on the chopping block. The attention is still drawn to lesser things. And I just pray that the faith to be with you and to be at your feet is enough. If there's anything that you see that is needed here, then
Well, in a way, sometimes I can say I can see so much that's needed here. And in another voice I can say I can see nothing is needed here. Nothing is needed here. But to be free of the imagined needs. In a way I can say both things, no? What is needed here? What is needed here? If I say what is needed, it sounds heavy. If I say what is not needed, it feels light. So I prefer to tell you what is not needed. It's not needed more experience. It will happen, of course. Some life is unfolding, you may call it experiencing and so on. Perceptions are not a sin. To perceive is not a sin. To enjoy is not a sin. All of these things. If there is a sin, it is to forget ourselves. It is to be unaware of who we are, because it brings in such a calamity. We are measuring by the standards of the mind, which are not reliable. So the world is topsy-turvy, not really is it a calm and tranquil scene. That's why I push everything. I'm pushing you back, push back to the place from where the idea of you first emerged. To go to that issuing place and push you before you issued. And yet I can say simple things that you're always trying to find a simpler thing. Without awareness, there is nothing at all. Without that root, the womb awareness, there's nothing at all. There's no consciousness, no experience, no knowledge, no life, no God, no demon, no heaven, no hell, right, wrong, you, me, this, that, anything, nothing can be there. Awareness is not even first, because it's there before the concept of first or second or other. Is this pure awareness that I refer to as God, as the Father, as the pure. But it's not an object. And neither are we, actually. Our most true is that we are the pure subjectivity. We are not the visible thing. It's almost as though we are the invisible manifesting in and through the visible. The visible aspect is our time-born aspect. And that is subject to change and to gradual decay, the sickness, all these things. That is our outer form. Our sort of mental, psychological, emotional self, that is another kind of form in some way. And that also, as all forms, is subject to change. But in the pure state, we are beyond form. In that place beyond, all the things we talk about can be perceived. They are perceived through the instrument of your being. Like right now, we are sitting here, we're talking. You are able somehow to hear the rain and the wind and the sound, to feel the softness in this room, the windiness outside, the soft candlelight here, the presence of the other beings around you. All these things are happening without doing anything at all. This is the marvelousness of the consciousness. It is indicating something, that in the most pure thing, because who are you without perceiving? So that the highest thing in you comes from a stillness. Don't you see this? And all the things to do with activity is born in time, and they just pass. They have no reality in themselves. They are perceived in the stillness. Like the highest expressions, the highest experience is always coming back to that silence. Is always coming back to that non-duality. Always coming back to that invisible space. Always coming back to that emptiness. All the meditations, they're taking you back to where? Emptiness. All spiritual disciplines are taking you toward silence and peace and joy and love and devotion and celebration of the holiness. They're not taking you out to noise and activity and running about and making it. It's not that. Even though those activities may continue in themselves, nothing's wrong with them. But your meditative, the highest expressions of the human being are always taking you towards silence. But not everybody see this. Taking you back towards peace. And in the peace you're perceiving is still functioning as peace. It's not telling you kill your senses. The people who tell you to suppress your senses, you see, have not understood this deeper truth. The senses can be there. When you come and see where the senses are coming from and what watches the senses become purified. So you can try through aggression, or you can come through the gate of understanding and devotion. Here I point you to understanding. The true understanding and love, in loving devotion and openness. The gates are open for you. What are you doing right now? Are you in some energetic exercise? No. In the silence of your being, you're coming to feel the resonance of the Supreme. coming into your synchronicity with the inmost being. There's such a clue, there's a metaphor in all of these things. Mind wants to know what to do, what is always some activity, to do activity, to do activity. Activities are fine because they are the expressions, the animating power and expression of the vital force. It's going to have to happen. Life has to be a movement. That's movement there. But the perceiving of the movement occur in stillness. This is the being and non-being. The manifest and unmanifest. The dynamic and the still. You see? And that which is beyond them, that perceive both of them. So with understanding, not through any spiritual gymnastics, but through understanding, you're coming again into the pacifying of your own being and the silence of being. And this is immediate, this is fresh. You're not pretending peace. We have not created this type of climate or environment here where anybody needs to pretend. Even though sometimes people do, because when they're not sure how to behave and this type of stuff, then sometimes they may feel like this. But we are not stretching and emphasizing, you must behave, just only behave to such extent that you're not a nuisance for everybody else. And cooperate and understand this is a holy place, meaning that we have chosen that this will be a holy place because we are giving attention to our own heart's truth. That's what's called holiness. And then those who are coming in behind you, behind us, they are also enjoying the atmosphere and the environment you create through your own holiness. Did you find my strong talking unloving?
Don't understand.
When you said I was speaking very strongly, very friendly.
Unloving.
Yeah.
No.
Mooji,
Mm.
I don't know if I should say this or not, but this is something inside that's panicking. Like, I know this place where the mind starts spinning out stories and what happened before and what's going to happen again.
Nothing happened before, and nothing's going to happen again. You know, it's just what you allow your mind to make up and present. It's and don't go with that. You know, when you feel that sort of fever state coming on, then you must do what is, you know, to kind of break that sort of feeling. Don't feed into it. Don't be at the mercy of your mind. where you can spend your whole life imagining life, thinking life, than being. And don't give any value to being. Because being then seems like it's like an undoing. It's just too passive. Then the mind says it's boring, it's very uncreative, you're just doing nothing, and it rubbishes it in front of you, and you don't even know how to stand up for yourself. You don't say, oh, hush up, mind. What have you ever given?
I feel that you've been showing here that there is nothing outside love, and all aspects that you mirror, whether are they painful or blissful, is just full of love, and from there comes all the trust that I feel for you. And I just want to maybe change what I see as being here a pattern of kind of moving away or hide out, or she's not always here, it's not a big deal out of it, but yesterday so wonderful after this movie, and I felt I cannot really give any chance to this gray area of my existence. And I feel very unskilled doing this, showing, exposing. I feel I have to do it, even if it's a clumsy way, or if I feel
It's healthy. It's healthy, easy. Exposing, You're not being a masochist. Sorry, which is a masochist again? Is he the one that likes to have things bad happen? Painful?
To make bad to himself.
All right. And they say this is one who would like to give him one.
To the other, yeah.
Okay. To be exposing, when I say look under the kilt of the eye, always, to expose some things, I would not turn it into, this is what we do. No, but it's time. And time feels good because it's sent by nature. We didn't design a program last month. You see, it just comes up now. You see, and so now is a good time. And that looking somehow, a lot of sense of vulnerability and exposing in front of people and so on. But you're in such a perfect place. Because if we each give permission to ourselves to say, well, we can express like this, because you see when you when you express something and expose something, not because it's you do this thing, I did this thing, and people are gonna go, oh look, he's the bad one, because your mind tell you, you're gonna say, oh, we thought you were really a decent guy. Well, you're a very nasty little person, aren't you? And then you see that, everybody got the little nasty little persons going on. And you think, well, actually, I feel okay. But do you need that even? That the others have their little nasties. So we're all a little group of little nasties, being honest about our nastiness. And my God, what a depressive place. My God. People sort of like, well, I did this thing and I hate my mother. Oh no, you hate your mother. Me too. Oh. I mean, it's just that somehow you get something out and you look at it and then you see, wait, whoa. That's felt like something so big for so long in my life, and I see that it's really nothing. It's just some thought I had in my head. Just a thought. What more can it be than this? A thought believed in, as we said. A thought without belief has no power at all. But a thought with belief can really excite you into doing many things, good or bad. So you're seeing these things. And then you kind of burp out. It's time we're kind of burping out all this stuff. Now we don't have time to invite our guests now. No, this is our dirty day. Okay? And everybody feels very good. See, actually it was good to do this. I feel like somehow I carried a lot of this thing for a long time. But then we move on from that somehow. It's not what it's about, just washing your laundry in public all the time. No, it's some time, why not? Get back to this thing, that which does not need any laundry, which is indefinable. And that you cannot create that, so don't try and imagine it. See? It has no form. It's very good.
As I feel merging more continuously in that space that I
It is
am,
happening automatically too. Mostly automatically.
Yeah.
Mostly automatically. This is grace.
But the feeling to put out what I see
This is
I'm
grace
not
also.
feels more urgent. Or
Yes,
more
this is grace also. This is
avoidable.
very good. This is because something gets inspired. You see? When you taste how good it feels and you want to throw everything in. So even a little bit I threw in, it feels so good. I want to throw everything in now. And then after throw everything in, I myself am jumping in. Inside there. Keep your hands like this. Oh, gosh. But there is a kind of joy in it. That my God, this is too much. Too much. Too much, happy. I just want to remind you how happy you are. But you seem to have forgotten. Yeah.
Even in moments like of stillness, I feel there's a tension all the time.
A tension, not attention.
A tension.
Attention
of
is there.
being present or just observing,
Yeah.
staying there somehow. Because somehow I had the fantasy that when I'm like that, I'm not conscious, like self-conscious at all, and everything just comes out naturally, and I'm not thinking at all. And like this, I feel very much here. But there's this, I don't know, tension or attention to here or.
Yeah, it's good. It's fine. This. I mentioned it several times about this tension is there, and don't let the mind judge it. Like, oh, something's not finished because there's a kind of something is here. No, this something is. It is also emptiness. It is also the emptiness being experienced through some remnants of the body mind. Also is something there, but the tension is there, and all of it can be there. Get used to all of it being whatever it is can be there. You see, and you don't have to fix that. You see, that is still phenomenal. It is still witnessable, something behind that. You see, and don't mean the behind in terms of some physical distance, but behind in terms of in a more subtle way. Than behind this thing. At the moment, you are going through tremendous, like a intense kind of tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick. This is very good, actually. You see, it's very, very good because somehow it's burning itself out. It comes quietly by itself. One moment feeling Next bit. Something. Then coming to see that that also both of these are still just a movement, perceived in that which is not the movement. Paying attention to that which is not the movement. And gradually the eyes relaxed from paying attention to the movement and drops inside that which is unmoving. Don't listen at all to the person's opinion. Well, I think, and I don't know, it looks like this. Just that which is not that, be that which is not that. It's an ocean of silence. Sometimes the mind is manifesting as intense dynamic expression, but still a lot of identity. Or the opposite is like very much lethargic presence, but still a lot of identity. You see? And they look like very, very different things, but they're still coming out of, they're still the play of Raja or Tamasic expressions. One very dynamic, like gotta do, always gotta do. You see? Another one, they can't do anything. But it's not peace, you see? It's like there. It's not peace. Some people, they don't speak, but their presence is very noisy. Can you discern these things sometimes? The people are there, they're not speaking, but they're very, very restless. You don't want to. They're not speaking, but there's something very noisy. Another one is speaking, but something very still. You can read all these different movements, subtle things. You can correspond with them. You're aware of them, but you don't have to react to them. You're just aware, and you can be aware, and you can ignore also. Not a big deal. You don't have to be on top of it. Just exercising your consciousness and your capacity to discern. It's all a joy. It's all something to do with the joy. Because if you take the joy out of it, it feels very flat. The joy is there. It's more than joy. It's more than joy. It's something unspeakable.
Mooji, there's a feeling that sort of lots could be exposed and lots could be kind of like burnt out. But that feeling is also not really true. It in itself can be looked at.
Yes. For someone like you, it's not good. Because your tendency is to identify with the person, in which there are always some new little strangenesses will come up. And you'll be able, for so long, you will keep on noticing things and notice and I notice that this thing is coming up. So actually, it's just coming up. So you have to find the Rastaman in you. You see, you have to liberate the Rasta in you, which is what? The one who is one in synchronicity with the life. Not trying to manipulate the life, but finding you are life. That is the real Rastaman. Not trying to, study to overlearn the earth things. No. Too much joy, man. Too much joy. Too much pleasure, too much love, too much of this. Really too much of it. It's like we are cooking something and looking in the pot, all the things in the pot is doing. But my fire is better than what's in the pot. I feel the fire of the existence, the fire of life, the fire of being is much better than what is cooking in the pot. Yeah. You should not be too predictable. A human being should not be predictable. Otherwise, you're just like some kind of puppet, some cardboard cutout. Your life has to free up. You can't do it. Who are you? Because when there's you, then that is the cardboard cutout. You are trying to be more spontaneous. But the one you're referring to is you, is the one who is very stiff. So how do you cannot make that one spontaneous. Kick him out and spontaneity alone remain. This is the thing. So we identify with the very one you need to get rid of. Right, there's no you beyond the ego. There's only ego. That's as far as you go. How can you go only just to the ego? It doesn't even exist.
Then all like self-analyzing just becomes nonsense.
Yes. If the self you're analyzing is only the body, mind, and conditioning, analyzing itself. It doesn't come out of its own. You can't come out. If you imagine a goldfish in a bowl, want to escape by drinking all the water in the bowl. Bright idea. I just drink all the water. So he drinks the water, pee in the water, go back. How is it going to come out? He's never going to reach the ocean like that. Hey. So it's not so depressing actually, because why? Because the consciousness is behind all the things. So the evolutionary drive is also an expression of consciousness. I just say it's more slow and it's fraught with difficulty, because the one who wants to be free is the one that means you have to be free from that one. This freedom is not for that one. Its freedom is from that one. That little twist. It's an ingenious idea. Only God could think of it. We are also the ego and beyond the ego. We cannot just be the ego, because the ego is so ephemeral. It has no substance at all. It has no substance to live by itself. It can only live when it lights up by connecting somehow with identity from the consciousness. It has no life independent. That's why I say it's not real. See, what is real, is self-perpetuating. Meaning that it doesn't depend upon something else for its reality. Like we talk about the light of the moon. The moon has no light. It only reflected from the sun, they say, no? So if some alien beings came and they stole the moon from this galaxy to because of light, moonlight, to take it to their galaxy. They're not going to find no light coming from it. They have to take the sun as well. Isn't it? Because the moon has no light by itself. I'm so happy I don't know what to do with myself today. I just feel like eating some bread or something. Bread and Marmite. That's what you do. When you're feeling too happy, and drink some tea. And go back to bed. I don't know. What is one? Wow. What we point out is like the bread yesterday. When the bread comes and it's fresh, that's the nicest time to eat it. You know? Even yesterday I went and I got some bread from before. I was saying to Amala, I'm toasting some bread. She said, no, take the fresh one. That one is from yesterday. Yeah, but I'll toast it. It's nice toasted. No. She said, take the fresh one. I said, yes, it's true. The fresh one is nicer even than the toasted one. Isn't it? So the same with this pointing. It's best fresh. It's never stale. You see? But I mean, best fresh means don't postpone it, don't put it off. Take it neat. And immediately. It's not enough to learn something like that. Be willing to be set a light, to be set on fire for it. This I can tell you. It's not enough to learn something theoretically, mentally, intellectually. For me, nothing. You have to become it. You have to somehow, it has to ignite in you. Then it comes to life. It cannot just be all some stored up information in your head. This is not knowledge. Just like if you get an orange, huh? And you have to open it and taste the juiciness. You have to be juicy. You have to be juicy. Juicy with God. Juicy with wisdom. Isn't it? You're just flat. You're just like encyclopedia on legs. Nobody needs to say, no, we don't need, man, we don't want to hear your stuff, man. We want to taste you. Didn't Jesus Christ say, you have to drink my blood and eat my flesh? They said, what is he talking about? We are supposed to be cannibals? That's how narrow they were there. He was talking to other foolish people. Way ahead of his time. Maybe Jesus' teaching was really meant for us later. One time he met one high priest called Nicodemus. Nicodemus was like a respected priest or a member of the Sanhedrin. You have this group called the Sanhedrin? We used to have it. And they were very much, up in arms against Jesus because he challenged them, he confronted them, and they didn't like it. He exposed them. It's one thing when you expose yourself, another thing when other person expose you. You expose something is not right in your teaching, where you're doing all these things but underneath something is dirty. No? So they didn't like him. But Nicodemus secretly admired Jesus. No? And he wanted to have a one-to-one with Jesus. So he asked somebody, set it up for me. I want to meet him. You know? So then they set up, Jesus. This guy called Nicodemus want to talk to you. Nicodemus? Yeah, he's one of the high priests from the Sanhedrin. Okay. What he wants to talk to me about? I don't know. Okay. Tell him to come. So Nicodemus come in the night because he didn't want to come in the day because people might recognize him. And then they met outside under the moon. And Jesus said to him, a man has to be born again. Nicodemus said, what? You mean a man has to go back up into his mother's womb? Yes, can you imagine? This is a high priest. He could not understand the significance of that type of metaphor. He was being literal. You mean I've got to go back up, man? Nicodemus, not like that, Jesus told him. No? He says, you feel the wind. You don't know where it's coming from or where it's going. Such is the nature of the person who is born of the Spirit. Flesh gives birth to flesh. Spirit gives birth to spirit. Nicodemus. You understand? I'm not talking to you of physical things. He's telling him. Flesh gives birth to flesh. Farm gives birth to farm. Spirit gives birth to spirit. You have to be born from flesh into spirit. You came from spirit. Your first birth is in flesh. Your second birth in the spirit. Nicodemus was took a while. Oh yeah. I'm sure I'd like to talk to you some more about these things. But I have to go now. So even in those days, not necessarily that the understanding was present in people, has to grow, because the nature was much too fleshly. You see, in the time when Jesus came, this was like at the end of what you may call the era of the Old Testament. The end of the Old Testament, because the Bible is in two sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. I know the Jews, they have the Torah, you say, the first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. It's like this.
I don't know the names in English.
Yeah, but those books were there. They regard, but there are other books came after them that makes up what we call in the Christian kingdom the Old Testament. And at the end of the Old Testament era, it was said that they were waiting for the coming of the Messiah, the returning of a great sort of like a warrior priest, a warrior prophet. They're expecting this because by that time the Jews had come under the rule of the Roman Empire and they were feeling oppressed by the Romans. Some part of the Jewish religious system was working alongside with the Romans, and it was not serving the people. But the people were expecting to have a figure returning which is like a blend of the prophet, what you may call Elijah, was a great prophet from the Old Testament period, you see, fierce prophet, And then they were expecting that their Messiah would come like Elijah, like a fiery prophet, but also a combination of like Elijah mixed with like King David, like a fiery king, like a power king. and that this prophet king would come to save them from the rule of the Roman Empire. You see? But life always will come surprise, because they're expecting a warrior king to come on a chariot from heaven to save the Jews from the Roman Empire. But who came? Jesus on a donkey. So they were like, whoa, what the hell is this? They're expecting a Rolls Royce. You see? They get a Ford Escort. So what happened? He's click, 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 and they were saying, wait, who is this guy? I mean, like, you know. So even John the Baptist, who was Jesus' cousin, actually, and John the Baptist was said to be the one who came as the forerunner of Jesus Christ, meaning that he came to announce the coming of the Messiah, who he didn't know exactly who it was even, is it? So when Jesus showed up and he was hearing that there was a teacher whose wisdom was so profound and who the people loved, and John the Baptist, when Jesus went to see John the Baptist, or no, he didn't went to see him. In fact, John the Baptist's disciples send a message to Jesus to ask, are you the one who we are expecting? Because you don't look it. You understand? Are you the one that we have been expecting? Because he was preaching before this, you know, because John the Baptist was a very powerful prophet. Yeah. But he was also preaching and telling the people, you know, I baptize you with water, but the one coming after me is going to baptize you with fire. He's going to be so pure, I am not worthy to even untie his shoes even. So when he heard about Jesus, he himself was doubt. He asked, please tell us if you are the one who is to come, or should we expect another one? Can you imagine? Some people came, the first disciples that Jesus gathered to himself, no? They were so excited because everybody was expecting to meet a Messiah, the one who would come to save the people. When Jesus came, when they discovered Jesus, they were very excited. And they went around and started to spread the news that we found the Messiah. But some people said, where is he? They said that he's from Nazareth. And the people said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Because Nazareth was like a bit of a junky place. And they were saying, can anything good come out of that place? Another thing that you don't expect, is it? Then he was also telling them, love your enemies. They were not ready for that at all. We want to get rid of the buggers. We don't want to love them, man. What are you talking about? Are you sure you are the guy who we're waiting for? Bless those who curse you. You're joking. And even many of the Jews, even now, they don't accept Jesus as anything. Even they have a very bad reputation. It's true or not?
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I knew more about Muhammad, for example, than I knew about Jesus. We don't know anything in school about Jesus. And actually,
He's from Jerusalem. Well, he's from Israel.
and I mostly heard from you.
Mhm.
Actually, when I came out of Israel a little bit, and I got to know some spirituality, then I first heard, I didn't know he was such a, such a
Highly regarded.
admired figure. And actually, his name, because they changed his name, the Yeshu in Hebrew.
Mhm.
Yeshu. No, Yeshua. This is
Yeshua.
his name. But they changed it, and actually, I heard from the religious, they call him Yeshu, they took the last letter off, and actually it means very bad.
Yeah.
It means may his memory and his name will be erased or something like that.
This is how the Jews, the present, the Jews.
You don't even know about it, you know, like I just knew the name, I didn't know.
Because you were really forbidden to even learn about him. Their greatest prophet, in fact, or regarded as such outside the world. He himself said, only amongst your own people, only amongst his own people, is a prophet without honor. His own people would not recognize him. You see? And even to this day, his name is not honored that highly amongst the Jews. There are many Christians now in Israel. Through them, perhaps people know, and they are still treated as a little bit on the side.
He considered as a false prophet.
Yeah.
Mooji, in New York, there's actually a religious group that's called Jews for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like a sect.
Yeah.
They actually are the only ones who actually acknowledge Jesus and actually.
Well, that's amazing. Like someone so famous around the whole of the world, that in his own country he's not even known.
Yep. It is God's doing. No human being will ever be exonerated, would ever be praised by all of humanity. It's not meant to happen. It is not meant to happen. Because if it was such, the people would also forget about God. Only in secret, those few who have gone beyond the what you may call the limitations of human thinking can transcend the limitations of human thinking. They are called the sages. And there's not a religion for sages. Because the people take a long time to really understand the greatness of their own masters. Not even God is loved by all creation.
It's one of the reasons why sometimes I really just contemplate this. I'm so grateful that I'm here, because I came from a culture that was completely atheist. It was no God anywhere. My family wasn't devotional at all. So, and then I came to the group, they said God doesn't exist at all. And something was feeling that's not true, but I couldn't kind of come to terms with this. So coming here and kind of rediscovering God, it gave me such a peace inside, because there was part of me that was kind of not accepting something really important, and arguing, and it was such a conflict.
God itself creates the conflict about God, because the human mind cannot comprehend that. Because sometimes what I am referring to as God, the people don't call God. So that because human beings will always create a kind of God born out of their own imagination. You see? So all of these things have to be, all this confusion, all these diverse expressions have to be, while human beings take themselves to be people, to cater for all the different strands, all the different styles of thinking, the temperaments, all of this have to be like food for all of them. You have to go completely out of that sphere altogether to understand what is really meant. When I use the word God, what is meant by that? The pure intelligence, the pure being that manifests, that is the cause, the source of love and wisdom, of manifestation and experience, the source of perception, that gives the power to experience and to discern, and all of this comes out of that unitive power, that power I call God. That manifests in every nation in some form, in a certain way for a certain time, and change and evolve. And sometimes God becomes redundant in a certain form, like the old forms of God as Agni and all of these kind of some ancient names of God. They outgrow and new names come, because you're in the realm, the dynamic realm of manifestation, and nothing is still. You see, everything changes. This is why I try to push beyond the realm of change into the unchanging, because then you will understand what is doing. Too much. Only when you're empty you can feel this thing. So please hurry up. Only when you're empty you can feel this unalloyed joy, this unending, inexhaustible joy, bliss, peace, everything thing, without clinging to it, without need. You have to empty of you, then you are full of that. So just hurry up.
Vasudevaya.